Welcome to this session. In this session, we would be discussing different aspects of fundraising, which is very important for all the NGOs. Actually, fundraising is one of the basic parts of NGOs for their survival, and for providing the community benefits and for providing the services to the community at stake and the stakeholders, the people who are associated with that NGOs. So fundraising is very important for NGOs, and this part, now there would be 3 sessions on different aspects of fundraisings and methods of funds, and then how to fundraising campaigns, how to develop those campaigns. All these things, they are covered in the last block, in the resource mobilization, and it's a part of the last block of the self-learning material of the course on management functions. And in this we would be discussing various techniques how the funds can be raised. But before that, it is very important to understand the concept of funds. What are funds and how they can be generated, how they can be raised, how they can be acquired, how they can be possessed. So these things we would be discussing in this session. When we talk about fundraising, it starts with the concept of funds. Now, basic sources of finance. We need to understand what are the sources of finance, because funding is one important aspect of finance, but there are different parts to it. Now, in Indian NGOs, they have 3 basic sources from which to find the money for their work, or find or get the money or acquire the money through different sources. Now, the first one is the funding part. The second is the fund generation, and the third is the fundraising part. We are discussing here the fundraising part because funds part we have already discussed in other sessions, where how to acquire the sources, the funds, and how to generate the funds. But in this we are concentrating more on how to raise the funds. Generating and raising, they may be similar, but generation can be internal also. But when you raise the funds, it is the external nature of getting the finances. So in this part we would be discussing the fundraising, but before that we'll just scan through these different sources of finance. Funding. Usually the funding happens through international donors like NGOs, the governments, the bilateral and multilateral organizations, and it can be through institutional donors. So funding can be through 2 ways. One is through international donors and the other is through institutional donors. Apart from this, the funding can be through individual donors also, but when we talk about funding at large, it is the international donors and the institutional donors. Coming to the concept of fund generation. When we know funding is like from the donations, in form of donations. That is one way of generating funds, in form of donations through different organizations, whether it is international or institutional, or even individual donors are also there. But when we talk about fund generation, usually it can be internal in nature. Suppose the income from the land, like agricultural and dairy farms, they seem to be very favorite with NGOs, especially those with a rural orientation. Now, if you just see, we can see some of the cases. You can just surf the net and you can see the NGOs who are working in the rural belt. There you will find that most of the NGOs, they have their own land. Now that land may be through the trust or through the donation of an individual or the institution, whatever the case may be. Now, usually that income, they have the sources of income. We have discussed these sources of income in other sessions also, but I'll just repeat, or we'll just recall, review through the income generation part, that when the income is generated, it can be through different ways. Now, if the NGO is of rural orientation, the income can be generated through agriculture, like if it is located, say, in a place like Assam, there they may require kind of, because that particular land is more equipped for tea and etc. and other agricultural produces. So those particular local produces can be grown there, and through them the income can be generated in the rural belts. Other form of income generation can be through buildings and facilities, like buildings can be put on rent, and certain facilities or services could be provided to the other institutions or other individuals, like banquet halls, or you can say dharamshalas, other things. So those can be built. This is usually in-house, and those income is the income is generated in-house. So income from consultancy or training and workshop fee. Now there are NGOs which go in for social entrepreneurship also. They act as companies also. So they can generate the income from the consultancy for providing the training, providing the workshops to other organizations, like NGOs working for mental health. They usually provide trainings and workshop to other institutions, and then from there the income can be generated, because when they provide the training, when they conduct the workshops, then the fee is placed. The fee is a certain amount of registration fee, you can say, or certain minimal subsidized fee is there for the participants, and through that they can generate their income. Now, other fund generation source can be the interest on fund deposits or return on investments from businesses. Businesses can be in different forms. Now, we will discuss this particular part in the methods of fundraising, and then we'll see how the businesses can be a part of income generation. But there are NGOs where if you have surplus amount of funds, those funds can be deposited, say, in the banks or in any NBFCs, and through them the interest can be generated. Now coming to the other aspect, that is fundraising, which is the core concept in today's session and in this present session. Now, NGOs, they appeal to the public, they persuade the individuals and groups to support a special cause. We have discussed a number of times, even in the beginning when we were talking about what are NGOs, how they are formed, etc. It is the basic concept of setting up of NGOs is that NGOs, they are there for a specific cause. So a specific cause requires certain funds to be taken care of, or to provide the services for that particular cause. So NGOs, they tend to appeal the public, and they persuade the individuals to support the cause in terms of say money. It can be money or kind. So it is most difficult out of the three methods. What we talked about, the fund generation and fundraising. Fundraising is one of the most difficult parts, and it also raises kind of many ideological problems as well. So this becomes difficult for the organizations to raise the funds, and to raise the funds, the NGOs, they need to persuade the individuals and groups. They have to coerce, or they have to convince the individuals and groups to support a particular cause. Fundraising is basically the process of collecting the funds from different individuals, organizations for performing a certain project. Usually what happens is, the small NGOs may go in for fundraising for the NGO as such, But when the NGO starts growing, they work on certain projects which we have discussed in earlier sessions also, and then they try to raise the fund for that specific project. Because if you prepare a project report in certain manner where it is precisely quoted that for what purpose the funds are required, then it becomes easier to raise the funds. The voluntary activity where donors can contribute in cash or kind, there are certain activities like in an NGO with which I am associated. There usually the activity is in kind, where they provide, during this pandemic period, they have provided the rations, they have provided the food items, and they have provided the woolens to the kids, to the families of the deprived or the people who are not able to earn during the pandemic period. So this was a voluntary activity and it was in cash. It was in kind. There are activities where the cash is also provided, where the money is given to the NGO for specific kind of a project. It is basically done by NGOs to run their daily operations or a specific project. So usually it happens when the NGO is growing and when NGO doesn't have enough of funds to provide that, to support the NGO. Now it is important to understand why fundraising is required. What is the importance of fundraising? Fundraising usually is a valuable part, an integral part for strengthening the NGOs and the community in turn. If there are no funds for NGOs, then NGOs will not be able to provide certain kind of services to the particular community for which that NGO is working. Suppose the NGO is working for, say, the upliftment of the rag pickers, then in that case that is one community. So for that they require a specific kind of funds. So all this is an integral part of for strengthening the NGOs. Donations are usually required by an NGO to carry out the desired planned and activities. As I told you earlier also, there are certain projects and these projects, they do require specific activities, and for these specific activities the funds are required. This also acts as a marketing activity where more people can be connected with the organization in which you may be working or you may be associated with. Donors can also contribute their expertise on the voluntary nature in terms of kind. And the donors can also contribute, like suppose teaching a particular subject, say personality development. So the donors can also contribute using their skills and expertise. These are certain principles of fundraising which is important to understand, because principles of sincerity and ethical integrity, this applies to fundraising. Ethical nature, which we talked about in governance part, that it is very, very important for the NGOs to maintain that ethical integrity, because if it is not there, then once people may donate but they will not come again and again if the NGO is not performing if the NGO is not performing sincerely or NGO is not providing the ethical integrity. So therefore it is very important for the NGOs to be ethical in nature. Fundraising should be the responsibility of all members of the organization. It is not the responsibility only of the top management. It is the responsibility of all the members. And fundraising activity, it should reflect the integrity and values of the organization. When we talked about the project report, in that, if you remember, there we talked about that all the passion, all the way the people are working, and all the values of the organization should be mentioned. Therefore, for fundraising activity, integrity and values should be reflected properly. An organization should be honest while dealing with the donors. They should be very clear, the transparency should be maintained, which helps in fundraising and sustaining also, because you just have gone through the session on sustainability also, where it is very, very important to understand that for sustaining in the society, it is important that ethical, integral behavior should be there, and the organization, the NGOs should be honest and very transparent while dealing with the fundraising organizations or the donors. Now, these are certain guidelines for fundraising. If you just see the cycle, then you see that fundraising has lot of acknowledgement, that you need to give the gratitude to the donors who have funded the organization, who have funded the NGO. So acknowledgement becomes very important. Appreciation should be there. Like, you need to, in all ways, if you see acknowledgement, appreciation, attitude, integrity, inputs, you see the gratitude comes the foremost. You need to give the gratitude to the people, to the groups, to the organizations, to the institutions who have provided the donation to the NGO, the concerned NGO. So acknowledgement is important, appreciation is important, and a specific kind of attitude is required. Attitude, a particular attitude, why you are raising the fund, why you need to show your commitment. And that attitude should be, it should not be arrogance, it should be a positive attitude towards looking to a certain situation. Integrity we spoke about, integrity, honesty has to be there. And of course the inputs, what kind of inputs would be there from your side to benefit the community, what kind of inputs should be there which you can put into the organization, to the NGO for its growth. All these things, they matter while raising the funds. So these 5 points should be considered, or 5 parameters should be considered while raising the funds. When we talk about acknowledgement, I said you should acknowledge the donors, recognize the donors in front of communities the NGO serves. Suppose if you see certain organizations, you'll see there are banners supported by this club, supported by this organization, supported by this institution, and there the people from that organization, they come and they donate certain things like blankets, like rations I spoke about, to the communities who are associated with that NGOs. Now that gives the recognition to the donors also. Acknowledging the donors usually help them increase their social status. That is one point. The other point is the sustainability part. This kind of acknowledgement, this kind of beneficial nature, this will help the NGO to sustain, or NGO to be connected with that institution on a long-term basis. So they develop a certain kind of relationship with the NGO. The other aspect is the attitude. As I spoke, it should be the positive attitude while asking for funds. And it is very important that the NGOs should not give up on facing the rejections, because it is not necessary that when you ask for funds, you will get the funds. So it is important that if the rejections happen, then we need to look into the aspects why the rejection happened. What were the reasons for the rejections? Can we improve upon it? Can we improve on the aspects for which the rejections happen? So the positive attitude should be there to face the rejections and to improve upon those rejections, and then go again to approach those donors for providing them the funds. It is also important that the NGOs should connect with the multiple donors. They should not always contact only singular donors. Multiple donors should be there and they should be approached. The other aspect is the integrity part. High level of integrity should be maintained, and all actions should be accountable for. All the funds must be accountable, and the transparency should be maintained, and it should disclose all the relevant information required for the NGOs. Inputs. Value the donations which are received in kind, and non-cash donations such as expertise or technical know-how should also be estimated and valued. Recognizing the worth of the community inputs is important. Inputs from individual side who are working in the NGOs, who are associated with the NGOs, and even the people who are providing their expertise and technical know-how for the upliftment of NGOs should also be valued, should also be acknowledged, should also be appreciated. When we talk about the methods of fundraising, these are some of the methods of fundraising. You have individual donors, you have fundraising events, you have corporate donors, you have trusts, foundations, and other grant-making agencies. And overseas non-resident communities are there, government sources are also there. So these are the different aspects of fundraising which the NGOs can use as per their requirement, as per their needs. Who are individual donors? When we talk about individual donors, these include a wide range of potential donors who have understood the cause and who are supporting that particular cause. Potential donors, it can be two kinds of donors, can be individual donors. One is the donors who are actually donating and who can donate in future if they recognize the cause. So potential donors, they include the rich and the upper middle class people belonging to different age groups who are associated with certain causes, who identify with certain causes and may donate in future. For example, donors can be professionals such as lawyers, doctors, IT professionals, etc. NGOs can approach different people and discuss about their work with them, and the presentation is required. If they can give the presentation to different people who have expressed interest in their work, contacting people who have provided funds earlier, so that relationship is maintained and they, on a regular basis, they provide the funds. Creating a proposal and be specific about the required amount, and communicating with the local community to arrange the support for fundraisers. You have fundraising events also. Fundraising events, they include inviting large number of people to one place with an objective of creating awareness about the cause and asking for donations. These include sporting events and tournaments, musical and cultural events, school events, flash mobs, auctions. There are many musical and cultural events being organized. Now, if you just go back 2 or 3 months back, you'll see that during the pandemic, online certain musical and cultural events were organized and the tickets were sold online, and through that they have raised and generated the funds for special causes. Organizing an event, it requires sincere efforts, and there are 3 main approaches to organizing an event, like organizing the event individually as per your requirement by you, hiring event managers. If the NGO is well equipped, then they can hire the event managers also, and arranging for volunteers and guide them how to for that particular cause and how to ask for the funds. There are corporate donors as well. Corporate organizations, they are required to pass on a share of profit to the society as a CSR activity. And corporates, they donate a share of their profits because of the following reasons: to create goodwill, to develop a brand image amongst customers, for tax reliefs, and to be associated with a specific cause. There are many corporate donors, there are many organizations who are working on this field, and they can be contacted for providing the donation to the organization or for raising the funds. Donation by corporates has to be justified to their shareholders, and in-depth proposal for approaching the corporates should be prepared, which we have discussed in proposal development. The companies, they appreciate acknowledgement, recognition, and good publicity, and corporates can give funds in the following forms. It can be cash, it can be sponsoring an event or materials, it can be providing expertise and advice. Trust and foundation. Trusts and foundations are grant-making bodies which are set up specifically to give the money for charitable purposes. We have discussed the difference between the trust and foundation. There are different forms of NGOs also initially. Now, I'll just review that particular part here. The trusts and foundations, these are grant-making bodies and they give money for certain causes. Local foundations, they support local projects which address the problems of the city or the regions where they are based. And national and international foundations, they support projects which are innovative and of national significance. Private foundations, they support those projects that are of interest to the family running the foundation. Larger foundations have brochures or flyers that set out their giving policy and application procedure, and they consider several proposals of several NGOs before giving a grant. So this is how they work. You have government sources also. There are certain schemes provided by the governments for the grants. One has to identify whether the grant is given by state or the central government. One has to identify the department, the person whom you will be responsible for receiving the applications and making a decision on that proposal, and using personal contacts and lobbying if possible in case of acquiring certain funds, because raising the funds is very, very difficult. Overseas or foreign donors, they market the cause to the non-resident community at large. They communicate with people at international conferences or seminars. They can approach the friends and family members residing overseas for certain support, approaching people who are connected to their local community, etc. So these are different types of donors, and when we see the concept of fundraising, we just find, to summarize, we can say that fundraising is basically through donations, and donations can be in any of the forms which we have just discussed. And these fundraising campaigns, this happens through campaigns, through events, through different activities. So these are basic techniques of fundraisings. We'll wind up here, and then we'll discuss the methods and how to raise the funds through campaigns. Thank you so much.